In 476 CE, a Roman emperor was quietly forced off his throne by a general who didn't even want the job. His name was Romulus, the same name as the legendary founder of Rome, 1,000 years earlier.
In between, this one empire controlled 3 continents and built roads still used today. Then it fell apart, and historians still don't agree on exactly why.
The story begins on the Italian peninsula, where a cluster of hills along the Tivi River would grow into the most powerful city on Earth. At its height, Rome controlled territory stretching from Britain to the Persian Gulf, from North Africa to the edge of Scotland. One system of law, roads, and citizenship spanning 3 continents. Over the next 1,000 years, this single city would rise from a small kingdom to a republic, to an empire, and finally collapse under pressures it could never fully solve. According to Roman legend, the city was bounded in 753 BCE by Romulus, after he and his twin brother Remus were abandoned as infants and supposedly raised by a she-wolf.
Archaeologists can't confirm the wolf, but excavations do show a real Iron Age settlement on Rome's hills from around that same period.
For roughly 250 years, Rome was ruled by kings, 7 of them, according to tradition, until Romans overthrew the last one, Tarphian the Proud, around 509 BCE, and swore never to be ruled by a monarch again. In his place, they built the Roman Republic, elected officials, a senate, and a system designed specifically to prevent any one man from holding power too long. For the next 4.5 centuries, the Republic expanded relentlessly, conquering the rest of Italy, then fighting a series of brutal wars against the North African city of Carthage, the Punic Wars. In 218 BC, the Carthaginian general Hannibal marched an army, and famously, war elephants over the Alps into Italy, inflicting devastating defeats on Rome. But Rome refused to surrender, eventually invading North Africa and forced Carthage's final destruction in 146 BCE. By then, Rome controlled the entire Mediterranean. But success created a new problem. The Republic's institutions, built for a small city-state, struggled to govern an empire. Wealthy generals commanded armies more loyal to them than to Rome, and civil wars followed.
In 49 BC, one of those generals, Julius Caesar, crossed the Rubion River with his army, an act of open rebellion, and seized control of Rome.
He was assassinated by senators 5 years later, in 44 BC, in an attempt to save the Republic. It didn't work. After more than a decade of further civil war, Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, defeated his last rival, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, at the Battle of Ardeum in 31 BC. The Senate gave Octavian a new title, Augustus.
The Republic was over in all but name. What followed is often called the Pax Romana, roughly 2 centuries of relative peace, during which Rome built the road networks, aqueducts, and legal systems that would influence civilizations for the next 2,000 years. The empire reached its largest size under the Emperor Trajan, around 117 CE.
But an empire that size was never easy to hold together. During the 3rd century CE, Rome nearly collapsed entirely. In just 50 years, the empire had more than 20 different emperors, most of them murdered or killed in battle. Runaway inflation crushed the economy. Plague swept through Roman cities not once but twice, killing a significant share of the population, though historians still debate exactly how large the death law really was. Invasions pressed in from every direction, and for a time the empire fractured into three competing pieces. Rome pulled itself back together, but not the same way. In 284 CE, the Emperor Dileptia concluded that one empire was too large for one man to rule, and split the administration in two, East and West. In 330 CE, Constantine founded a second capital in the East, at Constantinople. By 395 CE, when the Emperor Theudius I died, the split became permanent. There would never again be a single Roman Empire, only a western half and an eastern half. The western half didn't last another century. Throughout the early 400s, large groups of Germanic peoples pushed westward, many historians believe, by the expanding Hinths, crossed into Roman territory, faster than Rome could absorb or resist them. In 410 CE, Visigotic forces under Alaric did something unthinkable. They sacked the city of Rome itself, for the first time in 800 years. In 455 CE, the Vandals sacked it again. Historians still debate exactly why the Western Empire finally collapsed, and there is no single agreed-upon answer. Some point to military overreach and a shrinking, mercenary-heavy army no longer loyal to Rome. Others point to economic decline, crushing taxation, and a shrinking population. Some emphasize the sheer scale of the migrations pressing in from the north and east.
A famous 18th century theory blamed Christianity and moral decay, but most modern historians consider that explanation far too simple, and instead argue it was a combination of internal weakness and external pressure hitting at the same time. Whatever the exact mixture of causes, the end came in 476 CE, when a Germanic general named Odoacer removed the last Western Roman emperor, a teenager, ironically named Romulus, and didn't even bother naming himself emperor in his place. The Western Roman Empire was over. But Rome didn't actually disappear in 476. The eastern half, what historians now call the Byzantine Empire, continued from Constantinople for nearly another 1,000 years, considering itself Roman the entire time, until it finally fell to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. In a real sense, the Roman Empire didn't fall once. It fell in the west and kept going in the east for 1,000 years more.
What Rome left behind wasn't just ruins. It was the legal systems, the languages, the roads, and the architecture that much of the world still runs on today. The empire's power did eventually run out, but its influence, in a very real sense, never did.